Hey everyone, Brendan here, and let's talk PC building. Think of it like assembling a super-powered Lego set, but instead of a castle or spaceship, you're creating a high-performance machine tailored to your exact needs. One of the coolest things about building your own PC is that you're not stuck with what big manufacturers decide to put in their pre-built machines. You get to choose each component, ensuring that it meets your specific requirements and budget. Let's dive in and explore the exciting world of DIY PC building. Choosing the right components for your PC build is like assembling a team of superheroes. Each member has a specific role to play. First up, we have the motherboard, the central hub that connects all other components. When selecting a motherboard, consider the size, ATX, micro ATX, mini ITX, the socket type, compatible with your chosen CPU, and the features you need. Next we have the CPU, the brain of your computer. Look for a CPU with a high clock speed and multiple cores for smooth multitasking and demanding applications. Now let's talk about RAM, the short-term memory of your PC. More RAM means your computer can handle more tasks simultaneously without slowing down. Next we have the graphics card, the visual powerhouse responsible for rendering images, videos, and games. Finally we have the storage, where all your files, applications, and operating system reside. You have two main options, a hard disk drive, HDD, or a solid-state drive, SSD. Picking the right case for your PC is like finding the perfect apartment. It needs to be the right size, have the right features, and fit your style. Your case is more than just a pretty face. It houses and protects all those precious components we talked about. PC cases come in different sizes, known as form factors. The most common are ATX, micro ATX, and mini ITX. Consider the size of your motherboard and components when choosing a case. Airflow is crucial for keeping your components cool and preventing overheating. Look for a case with good ventilation and multiple fan mounts. Cable management is another important factor to consider, especially if you want a clean and organized build. PC cases come in a variety of styles, from sleek and minimalist to bold and aggressive. Choose a case that matches your personal preference and complements your setup. By considering the size, airflow, cable management, aesthetics, and functionality, you'll find the perfect home for your PC components. Alright, let's get our hands dirty and start putting this PC together. First up, we're tackling the motherboard, the heart of your custom-built beast. Before you even think about touching the motherboard, make sure you're grounded. Once you're properly grounded, open up your PC case and locate the motherboard standoffs. Screw in the standoffs that align with the screw holes on your motherboard. Now gently place your motherboard on top of the standoffs, making sure the ports line up with the I/O shield at the back of the case. Once it's sitting snugly, secure the motherboard to the standoffs using the screws that came with your case. Now take a moment to admire your handiwork. You've successfully installed the motherboard, the first major step in your PC building journey. Before we move on to other components, let's talk about the CPU socket. Open the CPU socket lever carefully, align the arrow on the CPU with the corresponding mark on the socket, and gently lower it into place. Once the CPU is seated correctly, close the lever and secure it. Section 5. CPU Chronicles. Installing the brain of your beast. With the motherboard securely in place, it's time to introduce the CPU, the brains of your custom-built operation. Before you handle the CPU, make sure you're grounded to avoid any static electricity mishaps. Gently remove the CPU from its protective packaging, being careful not to touch the gold contacts on the bottom. Align the arrow or notch on the CPU with the corresponding mark on the socket. It should fit in snugly without any force. Gently lower the CPU into the socket, making sure all the pins are aligned. Once it's seated correctly, close the metal retention arm and secure the lever. Congratulations, you've successfully installed the CPU. Now it's time to give it a cozy home by applying thermal paste. Apply a small pea-sized amount of thermal paste to the center of the CPU. Section 6. RAM Revelations, boosting your PC's memory power. With the CPU comfortably nestled in its socket, let's shift our attention to RAM, the short-term memory of your PC. The more RAM you have, the smoother and faster your PC will run, especially when it comes to multitasking or demanding applications like video editing and gaming. First, locate the RAM slots on your motherboard. They're usually situated near the CPU socket and are easily identifiable by their clips at either end. Open the clips on the RAM slots you'll be using. Align the notch on the RAM module with the notch on the slot. It should fit in only one way. Once you've got the notch lined up, carefully but firmly press down on both ends of the RAM module until you hear a satisfying click. Double check that the RAM module is seated flush with the motherboard and there are no gaps. Repeat the process for any additional RAM modules you're installing. Section 7 Graphics. Glory installing the visual powerhouse. Hold on to your hats, folks, because it's time to install the graphics card, the visual powerhouse of your PC. First things first, locate the PCIe X16 slot on your motherboard. Open the rear case slot that aligns with the PCIe X16 slot. Align the gold contacts on the graphics card with the PCIe X16 slot and gently but firmly press down until you hear a click. The retention clip at the end of the slot should lock the graphics card into place. Once the graphics card is installed, secure it to the case using the screws you removed earlier. Now, connect your monitor cable, HDMI or DisplayPort, to the graphics card's output ports at the back of the case. Section 8. Storage Solutions, choosing the right hard drive or SSD. Now that we've got the visual power sorted, it's time to talk storage. The digital warehouse where all your precious files, applications, and operating system will reside. HDDs are like the trusty old pickup trucks of the storage world. They're affordable, reliable, and can haul a ton of data. SSDs, on the other hand, are like the sleek sports cars of storage. They're blazing fast, silent, and consume less power. Installing your chosen storage device is a breeze. Locate the storage bays in your PC case. Slide your HDD or SSD into an available bay, making sure the SATA power and data connectors are accessible. Connect a SATA data cable from your motherboard to the drive and another SATA power cable from your power supply to the drive. Section 9. Power Up. Installing the power supply unit. Hold on tight because we're about to install the heart of your PC's electrical grid. The power supply unit, PSU. Before you handle the PSU, make sure the power cord is unplugged from the wall outlet. Locate the PSU bay in your PC case. It's usually located at the bottom or top rear of the case. Place the PSU into the bay, aligning it with the screw holes on the back of the case. Secure the PSU to the case using the provided screws. Now, it's time to connect the PSU to your components using the appropriate cables. Start by connecting the 24-pin ATX power connector to the motherboard. Next, connect the 8-pin EPS connector to power the CPU. Connect the appropriate power connectors to your graphics card, storage devices, and any other components that require additional power. Section 10. Cable Chaos. Organizing the wires in your PC. Alright folks, it's time to tackle the often dreaded but oh so satisfying task of cable management. Identify the cable routing options in your PC case. Many modern cases feature strategically placed cutouts, tie-down points, and even dedicated cable management channels to keep things tidy. Start by connecting all the essential cables to your motherboard, graphics card, storage devices, and other components. Once all the essential connections are made, start routing the cables behind the motherboard tray using the cable routing options provided by your case. Use zip ties or Velcro straps to bundle cables together and keep them from obstructing airflow. Route the cables in a way that minimizes their visibility from the front of the case. Section 11, Boot Camp, First Steps in Software Setup. Get ready for the moment of truth, everyone, because it's time to fire up your creation and experience the magic of a custom-built PC. Before you hit the power button, double-check all the connections one last time. Once you're confident everything is in order, take a deep breath and press the power button. If all goes well, you should see the BIOS screen, a text-based interface that allows you to configure basic system settings. Next, you'll need to install an operating system, OS, such as Windows or Linux. Connect a bootable USB drive or insert the installation disk containing your chosen OS. Follow the on-screen prompts to install the OS on your storage drive.